Hi, Anna, and you're very welcome to the Varus Health. And I'm so delighted that you've been able to make some time to join me. I met you at a recent Synergy event over in Oxford in London, and I was very, very impressed by your outline of your rheumatoid arthritis journey. And so I really feel this is important information to share with my viewers. And so I'd invite you to share that journey with us, please. And you're very welcome.
Thank you very much, Sinead. That's much appreciated. Yes, so I think I was actually sharing at the event that you talked about a little bit about my story
Yeah.
because I think everybody comes into sort of Synergy with a story, which all I have to do is tell it. So
Yeah.
I was suffering with rheumatoid arthritis, slightly early onset, to be quite honest, because it was in my sort of early 40s. I'd come back from a skiing holiday. I thought I'd dislocated my thumb. Went to the doctors. They did X-rays, and they said, "Oh, really sorry to say, but you have got early onset of rheumatoid arthritis," which of course put me into a mad panic because I was in a corporate career. It was very demanding. I had a young child, and I suddenly went, "Oh my goodness, crikey, what am I going to do?" So I tried alternative medication because, in fairness, it wasn't that bad to start with. Read up a lot about it. And because of the pace of my career and life as it was, I ended up being on medication, on very heavy medication, with steroids as being the solution for whenever I had a flare up.
Mhm.
Flare ups usually arose, I'm going to say, about 2 to 3 times a year, and that was mainly in my wrists. But simple tasks like unscrewing the milk bottle top in the morning,
Yes.
doing up my bra,
Hmm.
things like that were slightly more detailed and dexterous. I was really losing that mobility, and it was mainly in my hands and my wrists. So any of
Okay.
that sort of action. Um, so I became, resigned to medication. So I ended up being on, when I added it all up, a cocktail of over 75 tablets a week,
Wow.
with probably 80% of those being my rheumatoid arthritis medication. So all tablets,
Hmm.
all of which was going through my gut. So I think sadly I lost my father in 2019 after nursing him with cancer. Everybody's worlds then changed. We all went into lockdown.
Yes.
I decided to leave my corporate career, take voluntary redundancy to pursue my passion for art because I'm an artist.
Yes.
And I wanted to go down to Cornwall and do a 1 year art course. But of course, lockdown, unfortunately, came in and
Okay,
scuppered
to
the
that.
plans
Hmm.
slightly. And then my mother, bless her, went and had a heart attack in the middle of
Oh.
lockdown, I think as a result of obviously losing my father and the
Hmm.
stress of that. So I had to end up moving in. And because of my rheumatoid arthritis, which is immune suppressant, I had to be very, very careful and isolate. And I think during those 3 months of isolating with my mother, I thought, crikey, I'm an only child. My mother now
Hmm.
depends on me massively, as does my family. I need to get my medication sorted. So I
Yeah.
also I took up Pilates
Hmm.
um, with my lovely, who is now colleague at Synergy, Trisha Quinn, as
Hmm.
a local lady. Everything was, of course, all online to start with. So we're doing Pilates. And when we started to unlock, I said, "Oh, Trisha, I'd love to come and actually physically join one of your classes." She said, "Right, fill out this health form, and then you can come and join me over in Warwick." So filling out the health form, I declared obviously all my rheumatoid arthritis. And she went, "Oh my goodness, Anna, have you ever thought of trying a gut detox?" I went, "No." Very cynically, because I loved my food, I loved my alcohol, I loved my coffee, etc. When she started to say what I had to give up, I was a bit like, "Oh my goodness." But I also, at the base of it, I thought I've got to get off these steroids. I've got to get off this medication.
Yeah.
I'd also spoken to a lady in Synergy who had actually done that. She'd been wheelchair bound and she'd managed to get herself out of a wheelchair. So I was like, "Oh my goodness,
Wow.
this is possible."
Yes.
So Trisha signed me up and said, "Right, let's do a gut detox in
Hmm.
August of 2020. That was
Hmm.
after my holiday, after all the cream teas and cider from Cornwall. And I did it, and after 21 days, I felt amazing.
Right.
And I saw my rheumatoid arthritis consultant in the November,
Hmm.
and she was blown away because every time I have blood tests, and she said my DAS score, which is disease acceleration score, was barely below above 1, and it's usually 5 to 6. And she said, "What have you been doing?"
Wow.
So I shared with her, and I said, "Well, I've been doing this gut detox." She wasn't hugely interested, but all she said was, "Keep doing it, and I'm going to take you
Yes.
off your steroids by Christmas."
Wow.
So it's music to my ears, because that was my
Mhm.
priority, really, Sinead, to come off those, because they're
Yeah.
awful for your bones and your organs, and the long-term
Yeah.
effect on those is terrible. So by Christmas, I duly came off my medication, my steroids. And then
Yeah.
literally she said, I'm prepared to work with you, Anna, and let's try and find a solution so that you're not as reliant upon tablets. And we start switching it maybe to injection, so it's going straight into your bloodstream. And where we are, which in fairness is now 3 years down the line from that, I
Yes.
am now literally just injecting myself once a fortnight with
Right.
the Hemos biologic medication, which is absolutely fine to be able to do that. And I am now
Yes.
down to literally 2 sulfasalazine a day.
Wow.
So from that horrible 75, I've now
Yes.
transferred the majority of the RA drugs into
Yes.
that. I have to be very open, I'm still on thyroid, levothyroxine, which I will probably be for life, but that's fine. Um,
Yes.
but everything else I have come off.
Wow.
So I am super, super delighted. So as a result, now what I tend to do is obviously I've joined Synergy. It is now part of my company. So I started
Yes.
a business, which is a culmination of my absolute two passions, which is my art, which I
Hmm.
paint for my soul, really, and I exhibit
Yes.
8 times a year. And then
Yeah.
also the sort of nourishment and helping other people with autoimmune and other gut issues. So my company is called Anna Clarke,
Hmm.
Create, Nourish, Heal. And
Yes. Which I
literally
love.
that is empowering everybody to create, nourish, and heal, to really prioritize their health and well-being.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it. So I'm now sharing the love of my
Yes.
gut detox, and I run 21-day gut detoxes about 6 times a year to help
Okay.
people. But for me, it has become I call it my private health insurance, really, because
Yeah.
having left a corporate job. And so I now maintain it by taking the natural supplements on a daily basis, really.
Okay. And what supplements do you take on a daily basis, Anna?
So daily, I take, I was recommended, having seen a nutritionalist, that I need to
Yes.
keep up my vitamin D3. So
Okay.
I take 6 of those a day. So that's over the recommendation, but that is for
Yes.
density, etc. And omega-3, because ours is the purest and it's good for
Yes.
joint health. So
Yes.
I take 3 of those a day. Um,
Hmm.
I take my Body Prime magnesium. So I take
Hmm.
4 of those a day.
Yes.
I love my liver health.
Yes.
That's great for detoxifying. And then for anything
Yes.
if I do ever get, which I haven't, says she, touching wood, got a flare up, but I just take this really to sort of negate that. So to keep my joint supple, and because I've started running again very
Yes.
gently 3 times a week.
Yes.
So flex is just
Yes.
brilliant, cushioning
Yes.
that. And then because I am everything to do with my health and my circulation and my,
Yes.
Raji is I take 2 a day.
Yeah.
Because I used to suffer
So
with
do I.
rain ads as well when running, and also now
Yes.
fabulous beets. So I will put
Beets.
ProArgi with our beets,
Yes.
and that is brilliant for my energy,
Yes.
as well as detoxing 3 times a year. That is my
Yes. So my
keep.
goodness, that's such a fabulous total regime. And of course, it has to be mentioned that our Pro-Arginine is the best quality L-arginine supplement in the world. And that
Absolutely.
is, Synergy, I would describe it as an amazing company, but it's conservative. So for them to make that claim is something to pay attention to. And really, I think it's so, so important for people to understand the importance of getting the blood flowing in the body because once you give the body the conditions, sure, you're living proof that it can heal itself.
Absolutely.
That's
And I
what we're
think,
enabling.
yeah, and I agree with you. And I think ProArgi is responsible for this whole, as you say, circulation of getting the goodness to
Yeah,
everything, let alone my Raynaud's, but also when I did my gut detox, the first one, I had an awful fungal toe infection.
really.
That has been cured. And
Wow.
and things like I'm 58 and
Yes.
I'm going to say I've sailed through the menopause. I
Right.
know I'm very, very blessed from that
Yes.
perspective. I know it doesn't happen to everybody, but I'm absolutely convinced because I got my gut into a really good state and
Yes.
sleeping well and exercising well. I have not had to take any HRT of any form.
Right.
Um, the odd
So,
mild, warm, hot flush is the only
oh,
thing.
yes. I was
But
going to ask you, did you actually manage to completely escape hot flushes? So you're saying just something very mild.
literally, I used to wake up in the morning and it was literally then. It was like a bit of a sort of hot glow. And then
Yes.
that was it, but not during the night. So I didn't have any of
Yes.
the hot sweats. Um,
Yeah.
literally, I know I've been truly, truly blessed, but I do put it down to
Yes.
to the efficacy and the strength of our wonderful supplementation.
Absolutely. And of course, they say the gut is the second brain, and it has a huge impact on the on our overall health. And really, that's not really discussed. And
No.
also, I found out recently that only 10% of our gut is actually comes from our DNA, which means there's a whole 90% of it that we can influence,
I know,
which is pretty amazing, isn't it?
yes, all of that microbiome, gut microbiome, biota.
Yeah,
It's just amazing how we have the power, and we have choices to make, but we have the power to be
exactly.
able to
Yeah,
sort it out. Definitely.
yes. And where in the UK are you located, Anna?
I'm
What?
in landlocked at Kenilworth in Warwickshire,
Okay.
but but that's why I choose to go down to St Ives for my artistic inspiration of the sea. So
Yes. Oh,
unfortunately, being
very nice.
landlocked here, it's yeah, it's a bit more difficult.
Yes. And yeah, that's just amazing. It's really, I mean, to think that in 21 days you can just completely turn around your health. It's not to say that everything is resolved, but it can take people from, being in, maybe very poor quality of life and be able to completely transform that in 3 weeks. I just think it's fantastic news, and we need to get that news out there to people.
I totally agree, and I've got so many wonderful testimonials, but one that I will share is somebody who I did a gut talk at my old outplacement when I left my job at Sainsbury's.
Yes,
I'm invited back for well-being talk, so I always
very
share the
good.
love. And I had quite a few people that I did the health questionnaires on, and they said
Hmm.
yes, I'd like to do the gut detox in January. And this particular gentleman was obviously out of work because most people are on an outplacement. And
Yes.
he got himself in quite a low mode,
Hmm.
sort of mentally. He said,
Yes.
I know I've put on 2 stone and I'm not going to the gym. So I just need
Yes.
to stimulate all of that. Anyway, the minute he heard me say gut health and microbiome, he's like, oh my goodness, I want a piece of that. So he knew a bit
Yeah.
about it. And he started literally after Christmas on the 10th of January, and he ran the Brighton half marathon on Sunday, and he has lost over a stone and a half now. And he's
Wow.
also taking the beets and the Pro Argy because of his
Yes.
circulation for sporting. But he literally,
Yes.
it has been transformational
So
in
you're saying,
21 days.
okay. So you're saying like we're today, it's the 28th of February, and he started in January last month. Is that what you're saying?
He literally started on January the 10th. He lost the majority of the weight, and then because he was exercising regularly and training, but it was
Yes.
almost couch to half marathon. He was doing nothing.
Wow.
And now he's a bit more, he's got his mojo back for the gym, but also he was on
Yes.
blood pressure tablets for 15
Yes.
years. And he went to visit his doctor because his BP, he was monitoring it daily with the
Yes.
ProArgi, had come down to this amazing level that he just, and A,
Yes.
he could exercise safely. And his doctor's taking his medication down.
Wow. That's
It's just,
fantastic.
it's just wonderful. It really is wonderful.
Yes. And actually, Keith, another Synergy colleague, had explained to me recently that a doctor explained to him so that when you're on blood pressure medication, the reason that your blood pressure is raised is because there's some part of your body that's needing blood, and it's the heart has to work harder to get it there, right?
Ah,
So that's why your blood pressure is raised. But then when you're put on blood pressure medication, it means your blood pressure is lowered. But the underlying issue of the part of the body that isn't getting the blood, Anna, is not getting the blood. So it's an issue that's going to come up as a problem down the road. Isn't that
yeah.
very interesting? And so
Yeah.
then
It makes
it,
sense, doesn't it?
yeah, but then by taking the ProArgi 9 Plus, you're
Yeah.
getting the blood flowing. And so obviously that's why he was able to reduce the medication. So I think that's wonderful. It's really fantastic.
No, well, it is, and it's been, as you say, life changing. And you know, to be able
Yeah.
to do that with, you know, the number of people I've already lives who I've touched. But
Yes.
some people want weight loss, which it isn't
Yes.
really a weight loss fix. I always say this is something
Yes.
to do with your gut and it's rebalancing. But it's so many people said, I just want to change my eating habits. I want to get out of
Yes.
bad habits that I've probably since lockdown for some of my clients, but it just really is. 21 days is a brilliant reset,
Yes.
people.
But of
Believe it.
course it gets the balance right, Anna, in terms of the flora and fauna in the gut. Isn't that part of the key as well? Because sometimes when people struggle to lose weight, it is actually because of that imbalance. So, as you say, while you don't treat it as a weight loss product, really, it does have that benefit, though, that it's easier for people to not eat the wrong foods.
Correct. And it's a re-education for people, isn't
Yeah.
it, Sinead? And I think some people really relish that. And, you know,
Yes.
the client I was talking to, he said, I couldn't wait to get back in the kitchen. You know, it's
Yes.
reinvigorated my passion for cooking from fresh and
Yes.
clean eating. And I think that is an education that
It
we
is.
obviously impart that as well as alongside
Yes.
our organic supplementation that is basically food, um,
Yes.
you know, for
It
them.
is. Yeah. It's certainly, I describe it as deep nutrition,
Yeah.
particularly the V3 protocol,
Yeah.
which like that is deep nutrition. And really, the food that we're buying in the supermarket, Anna, does not have the nutrition today that it would have had 20 years ago. No way.
No, and I think
So,
that I remember the slide when I was very first shown about, you know, the salad that our grandparents ate.
yes,
We now need to have about 35 to 40 of those to get the same nutrition. I think a simple illustration of that just demonstrates how sad it is that our food
yes,
manufacturing is now very much more for profit, and the nutrients have just been zapped in our soil
yeah,
because it's such a shame, isn't it, really, that, you
it
know,
is. Yeah,
just
it is.
grow your own, Sinead. That's what I say.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, the other thing that I think is so important is the whole standards. The fact that that Synergy test to parts per trillion by any standards, that is impressive. Which means they're looking for one drop of impurity in the equivalent of 21 Olympic-sized pools. I don't know that any other company is doing that. And that actually gives me great kind of reassurance and comfort that, and kind of sense of surety in terms of recommending the products to people because they're such high quality.
And ditto. And I think from my background, when I was sourcing at Sainsbury's,
Yes,
you know, and we used to have to go overseas for raw materials and things and making sure that we were ethical, it has
yes,
given me massive faith that
yes,
I am promoting and utilizing a product that I know I can absolutely trust. And I've
Yeah,
used it myself, but I know that it's been tested to the
yeah,
nth degree.
yes,
I'm with you. I think where they source, who else goes and
hmm,
gets Tibetan beetroot?
yes, yeah.
You know,
The
it's
pity is we actually don't have the beets yet in Ireland. I'm
oh,
very
sorry.
jealous
Oh, it's
because
becoming soon. You
it
can't
will,
wait.
it will. But there's plenty of people in the UK that need to hear about it.
Yes, no,
Yeah,
absolutely. No, definitely. And
yeah,
I think the greens, you've got the greens, haven't you?
we have, and they're beautiful, absolutely
Yeah,
amazing,
yeah,
a
yeah.
beautiful product.
Fabulous. Yeah.
So, yeah, so no, we have plenty of options for people. So, have you any last words of advice, Anna, for people, who might be on the fence, or, is there anything else you'd like to share?
Well, I think hopefully my story, from somebody who was very cynical. So, and I think
Yes,
there is a lot of cynicism out there, about why would they try this? But I always say, if you can't give me 21 days, you're not ill enough. So I think sometimes it has to be that they have to have the want and
yes,
and the need for it, either medically or mentally,
yes,
personally.
yeah,
And I think 21 days is nothing in a lifetime. It felt like
nothing.
it, I must admit, it felt like it when I was asked to do it. I thought, oh, 21 days of not going out, not doing this. But it absolutely changed my life and my health.
Yes,
So
yes,
I think, people should definitely give it a go.
yes,
Because and be a cynic and then be proven wrong, which is a
yes,
joyous place to be.
yeah,
And transform your health today.
totally. What do people have to lose? Ill health, low energy, not able, for the cut and thrust of business and life. It's definitely well worth exploring.
I agree, and I understand that people who are on medication like myself, it can be quite unnerving to try something else, and you worry about,
Yes,
as I say, majority all of our supplements are food-based nutritional products. So,
yes,
you don't have to go and ask your doctor what meal you're having tonight, do you? So I think
yes,
it's really from that perspective, we can work with medication with these supplements.
totally. And actually, that's a very important point, though, Anna, because there's no contraindications. And that's, I mean, that is a downside of taking medication is that often there are contraindications.
Yeah,
But that it's a really important point, and that people can actually end up reducing medication, which is great.
totally,
Yeah,
totally.
excellent. Well, Anna, thank you so much for joining me. I think your story is amazing. I think you're an inspiration. I
Thank
love the Create, Nourish, Heal, and I
you.
wish you the very best of luck. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, Sinead.